Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be doing a 15-minute yin style class. So this is for those of you who want to try out some yin or you don't have a lot of time, and I just want to create a shorter class for you for those, again, that are short on time. So for this class, you're going to need potentially 2 blocks that will help to bring the floor up to you in some of the poses. And also you may need a strap. We'll see later in the class. We may or may not need that, so that's not necessarily required. So we'll start today with, like we do all the other classes, with a quote by Mary Oliver. And that quote is, "To pay attention, this is our endless and proper work." To pay attention, it is our endless and proper work. So as you're going through today's class, really notice and pay attention to your body and the poses and how you feel in them. So for this first one, and in case you missed the first yin class that's been pre-recorded, it was a 30-minute class. I kind of went through and explained what yin was. So I'll give you a short version of what a yin class is and some of the benefits as we're going through some of the poses to help with time. So we're going to start seated, cross-legged position. I'm going to turn sideways. You can stay however you want on your mat. Cross your front shin, your right shin in front of your left. That's where your blocks might come in handy, or you may not go that far. Stack them up in front of you if you'd like, or blankets, pillows, whatever. So from here, you're just going to simply inhale, get nice and tall and long in your spine. You can stay right here if this feels great. You can also fold up the mat to elevate your hips up. You want to keep your hips in this pose nice and even and flat on the ground, so you don't want to pop up out of them. So from here, we're going to exhale and fold forward any amount without going to your max to begin with. So we're going to go to about 75-80% of our max. And so just fold in and breathe here, and we're going to hold this pose for about a minute. So if you want to come forward on the blocks, if that's a good place to be, you find what is comfortable for you, keeping the hips down. And while you're in that pose, I'll explain to you a little bit about what yin is. Yin is a slow-paced class where the poses are mostly seated or lying down, and they are held for a longer period of time, anywhere from 45 seconds to 2 minutes plus, depending on the level of the practitioner. And for this class, I'm keeping it a level 1 beginner, so we're not going to hold anything longer than 2 minutes. All right, so breathe there nice and deep and stay in that pose for just a minute longer. And one of the great things about yin is it helps work with your fascia and connective tissue. So fascia is a band of connective tissue all throughout your body that helps it's beneath the skin and attaches and separates muscles and other internal organs. So it's really nice to do a yin class because it helps you release some of that tight fascia that happens in your body. All right, from there, come on back up and switch the cross of your legs. And now we're going to fold forward, the same thing, but now your left leg is in front, your left shin, and the same thing. Inhale and exhale, fold forward any amount. Again, not going to your max right away. So the idea of a yin class is to start at about, like I said, 75 to 80% of your max, or you're up to your edge, so that as you are in the pose for a minute or 2 minutes, depending on the pose, you can slowly get into that pose a little bit easier, and you'll go a little bit further over time. But if you start out at your max, your body has nowhere to go. So again, just keep that in mind when you're doing a yin practice. Yin can be challenging for people because it does require you to slow down and hold poses for longer than you're used to holding. And again, that helps to loosen up a lot of that tight fascia. All right, so just breathe here nice and deep. Continue to breathe at your own pace in all of these poses. And notice how your body is feeling. If you're, how you feel the sensation, if there's any pain, any of that kind of stuff. Just notice all that as you go. From here, take a nice deep inhale and exhale, and we'll come all the way back up. And now from here, you can either stay in your seated pose like you are now with your one leg in front of the other, or if it's okay with your leg, to take this left leg, externally rotate it out, and place that on the floor next to you so that your knee is now in conjunction with, is joined into your the sole of your right foot. And from here, we're just going to do a simple twist to the right. So keeping your hips as grounded as possible. This, obviously, your left one's going to be up off the ground a bit, but you're going to twist from your torso and just twist to your right. We're going a passive twist here, so we're not cranking out the biggest, most boldest twist we've ever done. We're going for a light twist to the side because we're going to hold this pose. So some of the benefits of yin include it helps reduce your stress and anxiety. It can increase your flexibility. It helps with your circulation. It's great at releasing that fascia and it helps improve your joint mobility. Continue to breathe in this twist. It also will balance your internal organs and improve the flow of prana. So it has a lot of great benefits. And exhale, return back to center. And from there, we're going to just switch the other leg out. So if you need to stay in that cross-legged position, just switch which leg is in front. Otherwise, bring this leg back and now take this one, externally rotate it out to the left. I'm sorry, the right, excuse me. I swear my brain does not work when it comes to doing videos sometimes. And then your right knee will be in conjunction with your left sole of your foot. And from here, same thing. We're just going to inhale and now exhale and turning, twisting from the torso to the left. And again, we're not going for a big, deep twist here. So the point of yin is not to go completely to your max, especially initially. You are working to get to a spot. That is the point of yin. So you're working to get your body further along in that pose as you go. And it does take time and patience, and your mind may wander. Try to keep focused on the breath and noticing how you feel within your own body as you do the poses. Exhale and come back to center. And from here, we're just going to bring both of our feet out in front of us, our legs out in front of us. You can be about hip distance apart. This is where the blocks might come in handy. You can also sit up on, if you want to fold up your mat. Any of those are options. And from here, you can either stay sitting up tall as is for the duration of the next 45 seconds to a minute, or you can, hinging from your hips, fold forward any amount. And again, this is a passive pose, so your feet will be, you can let them be relaxed. You don't want them to splay out, but they'll be relaxed. They're not going to be flexed like in a normal vinyasa or hatha class. And your back, your spine will round a bit in this pose, and that's okay because it is, again, it's a yin pose. So take some nice deep breaths in and out through the nose, feeling all that stretch in all of your muscles, your tendons, your fascia, the connective tissue, all of that. Just notice. And from here, take another inhale, exhale, and come back up. And now we're going to go into what is called hammock pose. Hammock pose is kind of fun, I think. So we're going to kind of come back onto our elbows. And from here, you're going to have your knees bent, and they can be about hip distance apart. And you're going to allow your back to hang between your two shoulders here. Your right here where your arms connect into the shoulders, shoulder joints. So it is kind of a hammock. So you're just hanging for a moment. We're just going to stay here for just a brief time before we go into our next pose. Another thing you'll find about yin is there's typically less poses done because you're holding the poses longer. And from there, release your arms and lay back down onto the ground. Keeping your knees bent, the soles of your feet on the ground. We're now going to bend the left, oops, I'm telling you, when I record, I get all confused. Let's start again. So from here, you're lying on your back. We're going to bring that right knee into our chest. Hug it in. And then from here, we're just going to do some hip circles. So just keeping the left leg as it is and stable and pointed up. We're just going to circle that right hip around in circles for a few rounds to kind of really give that hip some lubrication and that joint mobility that we all need. And then go the other direction, breathing during this whole time. Nice. And then set that foot down. And now we're going to hug our left leg into our chest and do the same thing on this side. So keeping the right leg stable and in its spot. We're just now going to rotate the hip of the left hip. So it's almost like your knee, if you had like a pen or something hanging, pointing from it,
It's like you're drawing a circle on the ceiling. So you're staying nice and flat and stable here, but you're moving that hip joint, you're isolating that hip joint movement. And now we're going to rotate the other way. A couple more rounds, breathing in here. And then exhale and let that go. And from here, I got to keep an eye on time. From here, we're going to bring the right knee into our chest and then grab the sole of the foot. And now we're going to reach up into a half happy baby. So your knee will be pointed toward the ground and the sole of your foot will be going up toward the ceiling. And we're going to stay here for just a moment. And from here, you can either keep that left leg bent, or if you feel like it is beneficial for you, you can straighten that left leg out onto the mat. Choose what is best for your body, not how you think the pose should look. So choose the right variation for you today and see what feels best in your body. Breathing here, nice and deep. This is just a short class, so we're not doing a lot of poses and we're holding each one for about a minute or so. A longer class, you would hold them longer or do more poses. Breathing again. And exhale, release that and let that go. And now bring your left knee into your chest. Grab a hold of your left sole of your foot. Your knee will be pointed toward the ground. The left sole of the foot will be pointed up toward the ceiling. And breathe here nice and deep. Again, you can always straighten that right leg out on the mat in front of you if you'd like, or keep it bent. Again, choose what feels best in your body for today. Breathing here nice and deep. Noticing the sensations, noticing how you feel. As long as you don't have pain, breathe into those sensations to help open yourself up a little bit more. If you have pain, please come out of the pose. Don't stay in any poses that you have pain in. Breathing here. And exhale and let that go. And from here, we're just going to roll over to our side, come on back up to a seated position. And from here, we're going to stretch out on the mat onto our bellies for a quick shoulder stretch. So stretch it onto your belly. And you're going to simply bring your right arm out to the right-hand side. And from here, you're going to just rotate your body over so that you're on the right-hand side of your body. The left leg can be bent in front of you like this. It can be straight on the mat along with your other leg, your left leg. So yeah, your left leg is the one that'll bent or it'd be straight. So you're on your right-hand side of your body, and you're just giving a nice shoulder opener here is what we're going for. And then your chin, or the side of your face will be on the mat. So find what works best for you. Breathing here, opening that shoulder. Breathe into that sensation. Continue to breathe. You know, this can be intense for some people. Back off if you need to. You can come back forward a little bit if you need to. Or you can intensify it by bringing your left foot back behind you. Decide what's best for you. And what's best for you today. All right, from there, we're going to roll back onto our stomachs. And now bring your left hand out in front of you over to the side to the left. So your left arm is out to the left. And now we're going to roll over onto our left side. The left side of our face will be on the ground. And you're on the left side of your body. Your right leg can either be bent in front of you. It can be straight on top of the other leg, or it can be behind you if you have that range of motion and that ability to move in this way. Again, choose what's best for your body. You need to listen to your body. That's a big part of Yin, is listening to your body and what it tells you to do and what it is asking for, or if it wants a little less or a little bit more. So it's important that we listen. And come back to your stomach. And we'll come back up to all fours. And then we're going to do one last pose for about 30 seconds each side because it can be a bit intense. Take both of your yoga blocks and put them over to the right-hand side of your mat.
And you're going to step that left foot forward. Left foot forward to a nice big lunge here. And the blocks will be to the right-hand side of your left foot. And then just bend forward into that front knee. Your back leg is straight behind you. Toes are untucked. And just stay here upright if you'd like. If you're feeling like you've got a little more opening, come down on the blocks or stay upright. Find what's best for you and just breathe here. I'm not going to hold you here as long because this is an intense hip opening stretch. It's good for the hip flexors, but it can be intense. A lot of times in Yin, you'll hold this for a much longer period of time, but today we're not going to do that. So just remember to breathe here. Breathe through that sensation. Know that this will pass here soon enough. All right, and then start to stretch and come out of it. And then we'll move to the other side. So move your blocks over a bit. And now stretch that right foot forward. So now your blocks will be to the left of your right foot. And really stretch forward in that leg. Really come forward. Breathe in this pose. Remembering to breathe. That will help get through this pose because it can be tough. It can be an intense pose for sure. And come on out of that one. And briefly, we're going to lie on our backs. Lie on our backs. Here we go. And then from here, place both of the soles of your feet on the ground, wider than hip distance apart, almost probably as wide as your mat. And from here, keeping your feet where they are, just dip your legs over to the right, your knees, and then dip your knees over to the left. So this is called windshield wipers, and this just helps release the lower back. And this is how we'll end our class today. So you can stay doing this as long as you want, for as many rounds as you want. Helps loosen up that lower back and let all of that go. Great pose to just do anytime. And when you're ready, you can come sitting back up at any moment. And I thank you very much for joining me for this very short but sweet Yin class. I hope to see you next time. Namaste.